Masters of Spirituality by David Russo. What if the peace, clarity, and power you've been searching for were never outside you but waiting, quietly, for you to remember who you truly are? Introduction. Awakening to Mastery. Imagine a life where every thought, every word, every action radiates wisdom, peace, and love, a life untouched by fear, fully aligned with your highest self. This is not a distant ideal or a story reserved for saints. It is the path of true spiritual mastery, and it is available to those who are willing to awaken. Spiritual mastery is not about accumulation of knowledge, nor is it defined by extraordinary feats. It is the art of living beyond the ego, embodying timeless wisdom, and becoming a guiding presence for others through simply being. It is the quiet power of one who moves through the world with clarity, compassion, and unwavering inner freedom. This audiobook is a guide for seekers at every stage, from those beginning their journey to those who have already glimpsed deeper dimensions of consciousness. Within these pages, you will encounter insights, practices, and stories that illuminate the path of mastery. You will explore the subtle dance of thought and energy, the transformative power of intention, and the liberating surrender that comes from aligning with the divine. You will learn to cultivate stillness amidst chaos, integrate shadow into light, and live fully in the eternal now. The structure of this journey unfolds over 10 transformative chapters. Each chapter is a doorway into a different facet of mastery, from walking beyond ego, embracing oneness, and aligning with divine will, to harnessing energy, transforming darkness, serving selflessly, and embodying wisdom in everyday life. These teachings are designed not only to be understood, but to be lived, experienced, and integrated into your very being. As you listen, I invite you to turn your awareness inward. Approach this journey with openness, curiosity, and patience. Some insights may challenge your old patterns. Others may awaken recognition deep within. The true essence of this work is not simply to learn about mastery, but to step into it, moment by moment, allowing it to transform how you think, act, and relate to the world. Prepare to awaken, prepare to remember, prepare to step fully into the life of a master of spirituality. This is your invitation to move beyond aspiration into embodiment, to not only witness the light, but to radiate it. The journey begins now. Chapter 1. The Essence of Mastery, Walking Beyond the Ego. The journey of spiritual mastery begins not in the world outside, but in the inner landscape of the mind. True mastery is marked by a quiet freedom from the relentless chatter of ego, from attachment, from fear-based reactions. It is not the absence of thoughts or emotions, but the ability to witness them without being controlled by them. The aspirant clings, struggles, and seeks outside themselves. The master observes, discerns, and acts from a place of deep presence. Walking beyond the ego requires courage, honesty, and unwavering self-awareness. The ego thrives on comparison, judgment, and identification with roles, possessions, and beliefs. To transcend it is to see life with clarity, to recognize that who we are at our core is far greater than any label, any title, or any external circumstance. It is here, in this space of inner freedom, that true discernment arises, the capacity to know what serves the soul and what binds it. Self-mastery is the first gateway. It begins with observation, watching the mind as it weaves stories, feeling the pull of habitual reactions, noticing the subtle cravings and fears that arise. Through conscious reflection, the seeker learns to pause, to breathe, and to respond rather than react. Each moment becomes an opportunity to choose alignment with wisdom rather than habit, with love rather than fear. A key practice in this chapter is mindful self-inquiry. Ask not only who am I, but which part of me is acting from ego, and which part from presence. Journal your reflections, meditate on recurring patterns, and gently question the stories you tell yourself. Over time, these practices cultivate clarity, composure, and a deep sense of inner authority. Walking beyond the ego is not a one-time achievement, it is a lifelong art. Yet, as you begin to recognize the subtle forces of attachment and conditioned thought, you will notice an increasing sense of freedom and alignment. The master does not cling to control, nor does mastery make life rigid. Instead, it opens a path of expansive presence, where wisdom informs every action, and the soul moves with grace through the world. Chapter 2. Unity Beyond Separation. Embracing Oneness. At the heart of spiritual mastery lies a profound recognition. The sense of separation is an illusion. From birth, we are taught to divide, categorize, and define ourselves in opposition to others. Yet the Master sees through this veil. Beyond the surface differences of race, belief, and circumstance, there is a single, unbroken flow of consciousness, a unified field of life that connects every being, every thought, every moment. Embracing oneness does not mean losing individuality or surrendering your unique expression. Rather, it is the understanding that all life is interconnected, and that actions, intentions, and energies ripple outward with effects far beyond what we perceive. When the illusion of separation dissolves, compassion arises naturally. There is no other to judge, no them to fear, only a shared existence that invites love, understanding, and conscious participation. The ego resists this awareness, seeking to define itself through difference and comparison. It whispers that your joy depends on others' failure, that your security comes from control, that your identity is fixed and separate. To move beyond egoic separation, you must consciously cultivate awareness, compassion, and presence. Notice how your thoughts categorize people or situations. Watch judgments arise and gently release them. In doing so, you begin to experience the world as a seamless whole, where even apparent conflicts hold the potential for harmony and growth. A key practice in this chapter is meditative exploration of interconnectedness. Sit quietly and breathe deeply. Visualize the threads that connect you to your loved ones, your community, the earth, and the cosmos. Feel the pulse of life moving through you, acknowledging that what benefits one benefits all. Supplement this with loving kindness exercises, sending goodwill to yourself, then expanding outward to family, friends, strangers, and even those you find difficult to love. Over time, these practices cultivate a natural state of empathy and alignment with universal consciousness. Oneness is not an abstract concept. It is a living experience. As you practice perceiving life without separation, you begin to act from a place of unity. Your choices, your words, and your presence carry the quiet power of harmony. This chapter invites you to step into that awareness, to dissolve the walls erected by the ego, and to recognize the sacred connection that underlies all of existence. In this recognition, the journey of mastery deepens, and the heart expands, naturally radiating love and wisdom to the world. Chapter 3. The Power of Intention, Aligning with the Divine Will. Every thought, every choice, every action begins with intention. In spiritual mastery, intention is not mere wishful thinking or desire-driven effort. It is the conscious alignment of your will with a higher intelligence, a force beyond personal ego that seeks harmony, purpose, and growth. When intention is rooted in presence and clarity, it shapes reality with precision, transforming ordinary life into a manifestation of soul-aligned purpose. The ego often confuses desire with intention. Desire clings, manipulates, and reacts to circumstances. True intention flows effortlessly, guided by discernment and awareness. Desire asks, "What can I get?" Intention asks, "What can I give?" Desire seeks to control outcomes. Intention opens to the intelligence of the universe. Learning to differentiate between these forces is one of the first steps toward mastery. It requires mindfulness, self-reflection, and a willingness to let go of outcomes while remaining devoted to alignment. To harness the power of intention, begin with clarity. Quiet the mind, observe the heart, and ask, "Is this action in alignment with my highest self?" Visualize your goals and actions as already imbued with purpose, and feel the energy of that alignment moving through you. Practices such as guided visualization, journaling with conscious intention, and deliberate daily affirmations can strengthen this alignment, turning thought into transformative action. Throughout history, masters have exemplified the force of soul-aligned intention. Their lives were not accidents of circumstance. They moved with purpose that transcended the personal ego. From acts of compassion to innovations that uplifted humanity, every conscious step reflected a harmony between inner will and the divine flow. By studying these lives and practicing your own intentional alignment, you begin to cultivate a similar clarity and influence in your daily life. Intention, when mastered, becomes a living force. It is not a rigid plan, but a compass guiding each choice with precision and integrity. It teaches patience, discernment, and trust. In embracing this practice, you learn to move through the world as an instrument of the divine, where every thought, word, and action resonates with purpose, wisdom, and grace. The power of intention is the bridge between insight and embodiment, the force that transforms spiritual understanding into living mastery. Chapter 4. Dancing with the Divine. The Art of Surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood. The mind equates it with weakness, passivity, or giving up control. True surrender, however, is the most profound act of strength a seeker can practice. It is an act of trust in the intelligence of life, a conscious release of resistance to the flow of the universe. To surrender is not to stop acting, it is to align every action with a greater rhythm, allowing guidance to move through you rather than forcing outcomes through egoic will. The ego fears surrender because it perceives control as survival. It clings to plans, outcomes, and identities, insisting on rigid certainty. Yet the master knows that rigidity is illusion, and that life responds to openness, not struggle. Surrender does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means embracing responsibility with humility, allowing insight, intuition, and divine intelligence to shape your choices. It is a dance of balance between effort and ease, between doing and allowing. Practices of surrender cultivate this inner trust. Begin with moments of conscious letting go. Breathe deeply, release the need to control outcomes, and feel the subtle support of life beneath you. Engage in rituals that symbolize release, writing down fears or expectations and letting them go, or meditating on the phrase, "Thy will, not mine." As you cultivate this trust, you notice that life flows with greater ease, obstacles soften, and synchronicities appear where once there was struggle. Stories of masters throughout history illustrate this truth. They faced uncertainty, loss, and challenge, yet their inner surrender allowed wisdom and grace to guide their actions. By releasing the illusion of control, they moved with precision, clarity, and profound influence, demonstrating that surrender is not defeat, but mastery in motion. Surrender is a daily practice, an ongoing dance with life itself. It asks you to trust your own intuition, to listen deeply, and to move with the rhythms of the universe. When embraced fully, surrender transforms fear into faith, resistance into receptivity, and rigidity into flow. In learning to dance with the divine, you step into a power that is far greater than the ego, a power that acts through love, awareness, and the harmonious unfolding of life. The art of surrender is the bridge between striving and being, between the human and the divine. Chapter 5. Mastery of Energy. Aligning body, mind, and spirit. Energy is the subtle current that underlies every thought, emotion, and action. To master life, one must first master this invisible force. The body, mind, and spirit are intertwined vessels of energy, and when they are misaligned, confusion, fatigue, and imbalance arise. When they are aligned, clarity, vitality, and profound presence naturally emerge. Spiritual mastery is not just a mental pursuit. It is a living experience of harmonious energy flowing through every aspect of being. The ego often mismanages energy by clinging to fear, attachment, and reactive patterns. Negative thoughts, unresolved emotions, and suppressed desires create blocks, disrupting the natural flow of life. The master, however, learns to recognize these imbalances and consciously restore alignment. By observing the body and mind, tuning into subtle sensations, and listening to the wisdom of the heart, one becomes aware of the energetic currents that shape every experience. Practical mastery begins with awareness. Breath work is a powerful tool. Deep, intentional breathing clears stagnation, centers attention, and strengthens connection between body and spirit. Meditation and mindfulness practices allow energy to settle, revealing the natural rhythm of presence beneath mental chatter. Working with subtle energy centers, or chakras, further supports balance, enhancing vitality and emotional clarity. Even simple conscious movement, walking, stretching, or flowing with music can harmonize the body-mind-spirit connection. Energy mastery also involves conscious choice. Thoughts, emotions, and actions carry vibrational weight, and the master cultivates awareness of this influence. By choosing compassion over judgment, clarity over confusion, and presence over distraction, one aligns with a higher frequency that radiates outward. Stories of spiritual masters illustrate how sustained energy alignment fosters wisdom, resilience, and profound impact on the world. Mastery of energy is not a one-time accomplishment. It is a daily practice of tuning, cleansing, and integrating. When you begin to inhabit your energy consciously, life becomes more fluid, interactions more harmonious, and awareness more expansive. Through breath, presence, and mindful alignment, you discover that mastery is not a distant goal. It is the natural expression of a being, in harmony with the infinite currents of life. Chapter 6. The Language of Silence. Discovering Stillness Within. Silence is far more than the absence of sound. It is the language of the soul, a space where insight, clarity, and wisdom arise naturally. In a world filled with constant noise, distraction, and mental chatter, cultivating inner silence becomes an essential practice for spiritual mastery. It is within stillness that we touch the source of our being. Beyond thought, beyond fear, beyond the ego, many seek quiet externally through secluded retreats or calm environments, but true silence begins within. External quiet can support inner stillness, but it cannot replace it. The master learns to access this silence at any moment, whether amidst chaos, conversation, or challenge. It is an inner refuge, a sacred space where the mind rests, the heart opens, and the spirit speaks. Practices that nurture inner silence vary, yet each shares the same purpose: to center awareness, calm mental turbulence, and awaken presence. Meditation, whether sitting in stillness or walking mindfully, helps to anchor consciousness in the present moment. Deep listening, both to oneself and to others, fosters awareness of subtle energies and intentions. Periods of intentional solitude or silent retreats provide opportunities to deepen connection with the inner self and the divine intelligence that flows through all life. Silence is not merely passive, it is a form of active receptivity. In quiet moments, intuition, creativity, and guidance arise naturally. Many masters throughout history have attested that their most profound realizations came in silence, during early morning meditations, solitary walks, or reflective pauses in daily life. By embracing the language of silence, we allow wisdom to enter unimpeded, and our actions begin to flow from that deep knowing rather than from reaction or habit. Developing inner silence is a journey of patience and practice. Start with small moments each day, pausing, breathing, and simply observing without judgment. Over time, this inner stillness expands, creating a profound sense of presence that colors every thought, word, and action. Silence becomes not an escape, but a homeless sacred space within which mastery awakens and the soul finds its voice. Chapter 7. Shadow as Gateway. Transforming darkness into light. Every seeker encounters the shadow, the hidden, unacknowledged parts of self that harbor fear, anger, resentment, and unresolved pain. The ego resists the shadow, pushing it away or disguising it, but true mastery does not ignore these darker aspects. The shadow is not a threat, it is a doorway. Within it lies the opportunity for profound growth, self-understanding, and transformation. To master life, we must learn to walk willingly into our own inner darkness and illuminate it with consciousness. The shadow often manifests as repeated patterns, emotional triggers, or self-sabotaging behaviors. These are not accidents, they are messages from the unconscious, signals of what remains unresolved. The master does not suppress these energies, but observes them with curiosity and compassion. In doing so, fear loses its grip, and reactive habits give way to conscious choice. Shadow work transforms pain into insight, resistance into acceptance, and limitation into freedom. Practical tools for shadow integration include inner dialogue, journaling, and reflective meditation. Ask yourself, which parts of me am I avoiding? What am I afraid to face? Confront these questions gently, without judgment. Explore recurring emotional responses. Notice hidden fears, and allow yourself to feel them fully. In conscious acknowledgement, the shadow loses its unconscious power and becomes a teacher rather than a tyrant. The lives of great masters illustrate the power of this work. They faced personal doubts, temptations, and inner conflicts, yet by embracing their shadows, they cultivated profound resilience, wisdom, and compassion. Darkness, when transformed, becomes a source of light, providing the depth and authenticity that make mastery genuine rather than superficial. Shadow work is not a one-time act, it is a continuous practice of courage, honesty, and self-compassion. By embracing the hidden parts of ourselves, we awaken an inner wholeness that fuels clarity, presence, and love. The gateway of shadow leads to freedom. The more fully we confront and integrate it, the more we illuminate the path toward spiritual mastery, allowing our light to shine unconditionally in the world. Chapter 8. Service as Spiritual Practice. The Path of Selfless Action. Spiritual mastery is not confined to meditation, reflection, or inner exploration. It extends outward, into the way we serve the world. True service arises from a heart aligned with compassion and purpose, not from egoic need for recognition, reward, or validation. When action is rooted in selflessness, it becomes a powerful expression of the divine, a living demonstration of mastery in motion. The ego often disguises service as obligation, achievement, or status. It seeks accolades or measures worth by what is done for others, rather than the purity of intention behind it. The master, however, serves quietly and fully, guided by presence, awareness, and love. Service is not an act performed only for impact or acknowledgement. It is a natural extension of being, flowing effortlessly from alignment with higher consciousness. To cultivate service as a spiritual practice, begin with mindfulness in everyday acts. Small gestures, a kind word, a patient ear, a helpful hand, carry the same transformative energy as grand actions when performed with conscious intent. Reflect on how your skills, time, and presence can uplift others without attachment to outcome. Consider mentoring, volunteering, or guiding others, remembering that selfless action nourishes both giver and receiver, creating a ripple of positive energy across the world. Throughout history, masters have exemplified this principle. Their lives were devoted to alleviating suffering, fostering growth, and inspiring transformation. They taught that the path of mastery is inseparable from acts of compassion, and that true influence comes not from authority, but from living the principles of love, service, and humility. By aligning service with soul purpose, every action becomes a bridge between inner awareness and outer impact. Service as a spiritual practice requires presence, discernment, and continual reflection. Each act becomes an opportunity to practice generosity, empathy, and patience. In giving without expectation, the heart expands, ego softens, and the soul grows. By embracing service in this conscious way, mastery moves beyond theory. It becomes a living, breathing expression of alignment, radiating light, wisdom, and love into the world. Chapter 9. The Eternal Now. Living in Presence. Spiritual mastery is rooted not in the past we remember, or the future we anticipate, but in the eternal now, the ever-present moment, where life unfolds in its fullness. The mind often distracts us with regrets, worries, and endless planning, pulling attention away from the richness of experience that exists only in this instant. To live in presence is to awaken fully to life as it is, embracing each moment with clarity, acceptance, and awareness. Presence is more than mindfulness. It is the state of being fully embodied, where thoughts, emotions, and actions arise with conscious intention. The master cultivates this state continuously, observing the mind without judgment, responding rather than reacting, and anchoring attention in the flow of life. In the eternal now, fear diminishes, clarity emerges, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Every moment is an opportunity to practice love, discernment, and alignment with higher purpose. Techniques for living in presence include conscious breathing, moment-to-moment awareness, and embodied listening. When engaging with others, practice fully attending to their words, expressions, and energy, rather than allowing the mind to wander. In daily activities, walking, eating, working, bring attention fully to the experience at hand. By cultivating this awareness, you begin to notice subtleties in life that were previously overlooked. and your actions become infused with intention and grace. The masters of history exemplified the power of presence, their ability to remain grounded amidst chaos, to act decisively while fully attuned to the moment, and to respond with compassion rather than reaction, demonstrates the profound freedom found in the eternal now. Presence allows them to navigate life with ease, aligning thought, word, and action seamlessly. Living in the eternal now is both practice and discipline. It requires continual return to awareness. Whenever the mind drifts into past regrets or future anxieties, each return strengthens the capacity to witness life with equanimity and insight. In embracing the eternal now, mastery is no longer a distant goal, it becomes the lived reality of each breath, each step, each encounter, allowing you to move through the world as a fully conscious, fully present being. Chapter 10. Embodied Wisdom, Integration of Mastery. Spiritual mastery is not merely knowing, it is living. True wisdom is not held in thought alone, but expressed in every word, every action, and every breath. Embodied mastery is the seamless integration of insight into life, where the lessons of self-mastery, presence, intention, and service are reflected naturally in how you move through the world. It is the moment when understanding becomes living reality. Integration begins with reflection and conscious practice. Throughout your journey, notice the ways in which each teaching, walking beyond ego, embracing oneness, surrendering, mastering energy, transforming shadow, and serving selflessly can be woven into daily life. Rituals, mindful routines, and intentional reflection become tools for anchoring these principles. The body becomes a temple of awareness, the mind a vessel of clarity, and the heart a source of compassionate action. The master does not separate life from practice. Every interaction, challenge, and ordinary task is an opportunity to embody wisdom. Words are spoken with care, choices are made with alignment, and presence is offered effortlessly. Embodied wisdom radiates subtly yet powerfully, inspiring others without need for recognition or control. It is humility in action, strength in stillness, and grace in every gesture. Mentorship and shared experience amplify integration. By guiding, teaching, or simply modeling presence and insight for others, the master continues to refine understanding. Life itself becomes the laboratory for mastery. Every difficulty, every triumph, every ordinary day is a chance to live fully, consciously, and with integrity. Embodied wisdom is a lifelong practice. It does not end with achievement or attainment, but deepens with each experience, each breath, and each moment of mindful engagement. When insight is fully integrated, the seeker becomes a living teaching, a presence of mastery that enriches both self and the world. The culmination of this path is not perfection, but harmony, a life where thought, word, and action flow in alignment with truth, love, and the eternal rhythm of the universe. Conclusion: the journey without end. Spiritual mastery is not a destination, it is a journey without end. Each step forward reveals new layers of understanding, fresh opportunities for growth, and deeper dimensions of awareness. The path of mastery invites humility, curiosity, and devotion, reminding us that no matter how much we learn, the heart and soul continue to unfold in ever-expanding ways. There is always more to explore, more to embody, and more to share. As you reflect on the teachings in this audiobook, from walking beyond ego, embracing oneness, and aligning with divine will, to surrendering, mastering energy, transforming shadow, serving selflessly, and living fully in the eternal now, you may notice that true mastery is not measured by accomplishment, but by presence. It is revealed in your capacity to respond with clarity, act from love rather than fear, and live in harmony with yourself, others, and the universe. Guided reflection anchors these insights into daily life. Take moments each day to pause, breathe, and ask, how can I bring these teachings into my thoughts, words, and actions today? Observe where old patterns arise, where fear or resistance surfaces, and meet them with awareness and compassion. Each conscious choice is a step deeper into mastery, a reaffirmation of your alignment with wisdom and love. The journey of a master of spirituality is both personal and universal. As you awaken to your own inner truth, you also radiate light outward, touching the lives of others in subtle yet profound ways. This work is not for recognition or reward. It is a living practice of presence, service, and embodied insight. Step fully into your life as a master in motion. Embrace the continuous unfolding, the mysteries yet to be discovered, and the infinite opportunities to live consciously. Spiritual mastery is a lifelong dance, a flowing harmony of being, learning, and giving. Let this journey guide you not toward an end, but toward the continual awakening of your highest self, and the ever-deepening expression of love, wisdom, and presence in the world.